Hey everybody, welcome to Dad, Daughters, and Drinks, where you'll always get at least two of those three. Today you've got me, the Margarita Kid, and I am drinking coffee. Just coffee, it's still early in the day. However, it is out of my sarcasm mug, which of course makes it taste better. On to the music. So today we're going to be reacting to Fred Again's Angie, I've Been Lost. So this first came to my attention as part of the Ren Fred Again mashup. It was the last song that was in the mashup, and it was extremely emotional in that version of it. And in reading Ren's description of seeing Fred again in concert and him playing the song and it, being very emotional for him, I thought, I might as well check it out. I was always fascinated by the fact that Ren had taken this, EDM looper artist. I may be using genres that are not quite accurate. I think he may be a bit of a genre bender. But I thought I would look into him a little bit. And so I did react to Fred Again's Tiny Desk concert by NPR. And that was actually really fascinating. So Fred sings, he plays all kinds of different instruments. Very, very, very talented guy. And when he sings, it wasn't like he had a voice that was like where you're going, oh, that's a great singer. But it was the kind of voice that was very emotional, very raw. You could tell he's putting himself completely into it. And so, it kind of goes along with that whole, kind of emotional part of the journey, which again isn't something I would normally expect if I was getting into EDM music. So I'm going to go ahead and react to this based on what's on the screen. I'm kind of assuming you read it already. It looks like Fred had been having a hard time when he wrote this, and he's going to type the story out. So I don't know how much of it is story, how much of it is music, if there are any lyrics other than, I've Been Lost. I assume that there will be, but I don't know if that's going to be related to the story or just kind of almost background music for what he's writing. I don't know if it's going to be, he plays a lot of instruments, so I don't know what the actual style of music is going to be either. I don't know anything, so let's just go ahead and get started and see what we get.
I've been lost, I've been lost, I've been lost, I've been lost for a while.
So that's the part that Bren was singing over and over again as well. And I wanted to hear what instruments there were right here.
I've been lost, I've been lost, I've been lost for a while.
So it sounds like it's some sort of synth, and then maybe I swear I heard a couple of really faint guitar strums.
Lost for a while. But I'm really trying.
Oh. All right. So I see 2020, and it makes you think COVID, right? But I mean, other things happened during 2020, and if he spent all of 2020 on the phone, I don't think this was a COVID sickness. So it's interesting. You see him, meeting people and smiling, and here he is around them. He's clearly got something on his mind, right? He seems to have a really expressive face. Like when he's smiling, it's like a big smile, and when he's sad, it's fairly obvious. Some people can't hide their emotions very well. No, maybe he could. He just isn't. But some people, I think it's almost the opposite. Like they can be feeling this raging torrent of emotions, and you just never see it on their faces. And I don't think it's intentional either way. I think some people just, that's how they are, one way or the other.
But I really tried hard.
It almost sounds like a survivor's guilt kind of thing, right? So somebody, gets hurt, or, normally that's associated with like a death, right? So there's a car accident and everybody in the car dies except you. And instead of feeling lucky that you survived, you start feeling like, why am I the one that survived, right? What did I do to deserve this? And you kind of feel guilty that you survived and nobody else did, when it wasn't really anybody's fault. And I think the same kind of can go for sickness, right? I think he feels guilt. It's not exactly survivor's guilt, but it's just kind of a guilt that he can still have fun when there's, somebody so close to him that's going through something awful.
I've been lost, I've been lost, I've been lost, I've been lost for a while. But I'm really trying. I've been hurt, I've been broke, I've been bent out of shape for a while. But you just keep me trying.
Don't have nothing left. Don't have nothing.
I think I had mentioned earlier that it's interesting how people can, take like an EDM track and make it into something acoustic. But I think this one, the melody of the kind of the main hook, I think it does lend itself to saying, "Oh, I'm going to grab an acoustic guitar and see how I can perform this," as opposed to like, if I were to hear "Losing It" or something, that would be much more of a challenge.
What time we been in, man?
We gon' make it through. Don't have nothing left.
It's funny. I don't know if this is how he's doing it, but after watching the Tiny Desk concert, when you kind of hear him walking away and you hear these different sound clips playing in the background, I can just imagine him hitting those buttons on the I don't even know what you call that device that kind of has all the little samples, and even maybe having the videos in the background.
We gon' make it through. Don't have nothing left.
I wish this thing hadn't popped up in front. I wonder if there's a way to not see it. Maybe if I can't make it bigger or smaller. Something in soft people who've sent me messages, what happened to them, that the record has helped them with. Thank you. I find purpose in this truly. I really, really hope you're okay. So this is well, there's a lot to unpack from that one. Not just what's been written here, but the video itself. So there's a lot of questions that you kind of get in your mind that to me are almost, I wonder, like, what was she sick with? Are they still together? How is she doing? But then at the same time, I'm like, yeah, it's none of my business, right? But at the same time, it was very brave of him to write something like this. Any of these musicians that can really go through something and capture it musically in a way that I think is able to convey how they were feeling, kind of the pain and the emotion and the rawness. Good on them for being able to do that. It's brave to do, and it's difficult to do. And I applaud anybody who even tries to do it. And some of the people that can do it really well tend to be just artists that people completely fall in love with. And so I would think that there has to be a certain validation that you get from something like this. Not in like a, oh, I'm so great kind of validation, but I know Ren had talked a lot about when he did, Hi Ren, and all these people started, another thing that was obviously very, brave thing to do. And a lot of people, kind of said I can relate to that in a lot of different ways, and it helped them through problems and all these things. And he would say that, that whole experience validated for him in some way the pain that he had gone through for, a decade and is still going through. Because you don't want to feel like it was all for nothing, right? And so being able to share your experience and have it help other people, I think somewhat mitigates what you went through. It never makes it hurt less, but at least you kind of think, in the long run, maybe it was, it was worth what I went through. And then, he ends it with, I really, really hope you're okay, which is, really just kind of shows that he's, a person who cares about others, right? So he wasn't, again, probably doing the song for himself, although I'm sure that was part of it. I'm sure there's a certain catharsis in that. But I think, also doing it because, other people are going to hear it and relate to it, and it's going to help them through things. I think that's a really cool thing to do. And I think it's good that he really, even, at the end here, focuses on making it not about him, but about his audience. It just really shows what kind of an excellent person he is. And I haven't seen or heard anything yet about him that would say otherwise. So good. I'm actually really enjoying, I barely dipped my toe into Fred Again. I didn't think that it would necessarily turn into a rabbit hole, but it's seeming like it's got some possibility for that. I don't think this is the last Fred Again reaction I'm going to do, because it's a lot different than I thought it was going to be. It's not just beats and kind of high intensity loops or something. It's much more passionate than I thought it was going to be. So I think that's it for today, at least for this video. But I appreciate everybody who stuck around this long. I appreciate you spending your time with me, all of your comments. If you haven't, go check out Fred Again. Go to this video, like it, comment on it, subscribe to him if you're digging his music. It's one of these ways that we can show some love to the artists that are sharing themselves with us. And I'll also put a link to his page and to this video down in the comments as well. Or not the comments, but in the description. So yeah, check all this stuff out. And with that, I think I'm out. Everybody, have a great day.